really interesting session. We've just been through with Ovation, 3.5 hours. We're just saying it was almost too short. I mean, what are your main takeaways, do you think, from the session?
Well, it was such a globally diverse group of chief procurement officers. So you end up really appreciating how we're all in this together. You know, not just the COVID situation, but all the change that's occurring in the world, whether it be cultural or whether it be political or economic. I mean, we're basically facing the same issues, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Asia, whether you're in the United States. And, you know, a common platform like, you know, Procurement Leaders is so important as a touch point between procurement executives that I don't think you can underestimate how affirming that process is.
Yeah, so I mean, we heard from, you know, a group of Gen Z professionals who are doing amazing things. You know, they're 21, 18, leading companies.
Right.
You know, it's a different world, isn't it? I mean, what did you take away from that session in particular?
Yeah, well, I mean, Gen Z's born since what, 1996. It's 32% of the population, and they're shaping, I think, the agenda probably more so than other named generations that occurred in the last 20 some odd years. It is their world that they're influencing, to use the term influence. Yeah. And I think that what they encouraged us to do is to listen to them, don't talk about them. And I think that's really a very good lesson. I think that as leaders, we can all take to heart, to really just open our ears. And by opening our ears, and sometimes we end up opening our minds to understanding. So I think that was a great insight that they brought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been advisory board chairman of PL for, you know, 3 years or so. You're stepping aside now. You know, what words of advice would you give to, you know, CPOs in role? You're no longer in role. You're enjoying
Right.
Fairways and doing a bit of consulting work. I mean, what would you leave people with?
Well, I think, you know, procurement as a profession, you know, in some ways is arguably the oldest profession. You know, Adam and Eve had the apple and the snake, right? Somebody made an offer and somebody accepted that offer. So you could argue that it's a pretty old profession. So commerce and trade and how things actually occur between companies. The amazing thing about procurement leaders, you know, sometimes they're suppliers, and sometimes you're a customer, and sometimes it flips back and forth, because every company is both a customer and a supplier to somebody, and procurement is that agency in the middle that allows for that, whether it be relationship, transactions. You know, there's a whole range of things that happen. But as the gatekeeper of commerce, I guess would be the way I look at it. I think understanding broadly our influence. Making our voice heard at the board level, making our voice heard in the broader communities that we live in and serve in. I just think we have greater influence going forward than we think, and I think we can be a strong voice for our employees. I think we can be a strong voice for sustainability. I think we can be a strong voice for the values that really would bring you know, companies and strengthen companies around the world, is what I think.
No, it's good points. I mean, and also, I mean, that the position that procurement is in that you mentioned there, I mean, that was part of the Ovation experience. We surveyed those who attended. We had, you know, 8 responses from group level CPOs, and, you know, more than half are saying that, you know, they've become closer to the C-suite as a result of this. And what I found interesting was almost half of those said that it's due to a need to tap into new sources of value. So, you know, the renewed focus on risk is, you know, a constant, you know, the cost and savings is a constant, but this new sources of value, you know, that's really key now for the function to make sure that it does unlock that innovation and that for the business. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you know, the old school of, you know, procurement really just being a hamster on a wheel, you know, churning through transactions is history. Our ability to innovate, find value, you know, the de-risk, add resiliency, all the things that people were talking about, diversity, inclusivity. I mean, all those things that we can influence and make happen. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, companies started the minority supplier program. Well, I think we got to move beyond that mindset, you know, because everybody's a minority and everybody's a majority. So it's just this idea of inclusivity where everybody's equal, everything happens, you know, on a standard proactive vision. I think those are things that I think will change and make, you know, enrich our cultures, enrich our companies. I think it's good. And I think CPOs and procurement organizations can be agents of that change, can be agents of that, that unlocking the value, as you said, finding the value, you know, whatever that may be. You know, you might be looking for new materials, new suppliers, or just trying to bring relationships, trying to develop the relationships between suppliers and companies to unlock the value. A lot of times, you know, the value that exists actually is there. You, with your current partner may have that value, you just aren't unlocking his value.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. All right. Well, Tom, as I said, I mean, the words of wisdom that you've shared with procurement leaders over the past number of years, as when you were advisory board chairman and before, has been really valuable to us. It's, you know, it's really helped us to grow as a business. So our thanks from everyone at PL for the time and energy that you've given us. Good luck for your handicap and the other things that you're doing. I mean, it sounds like a good path ahead for you. So yeah, we'll keep in touch.
All right. Well, thanks, David. Appreciate it.